good fiction-based writing that doesn't take place on Earth, the author has to make an engaging world for the characters to interact with. The graphic novel On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden does exactly this. Establishing an environment that the protagonist is maybe not 100% familiar with would allow the reader to learn more about the protagonist and the world they live in. The thing that's special about this book in particular is the sheer depth of the world that Tilly Walden has created. An elaborate labyrinth of cool structures spawned from the depths of space is where the story takes place. Add in a big giant flying fish, a character, a planet where no one can leave, a boarding school, and you get the start of a compelling narrative. But in order to sell something, it needs to pique interest, at least on a basic level. The book throws us in just as the protagonist Mia joins our quirky space crew from the big fish we saw from earlier. So Mia could have just up and left our quirky spaceship crew, but decided to stay because she needed to be paying those bills. Now that's a poppin' motive if I've ever heard of one, but it's dry and there really isn't much you can do with it. So why not cut back to 5 years in the past of boarding school land just after meeting our cool fish crew to get to know Mia a little better? Well, okay, here we find out a lot of women exist and men might not. We also find out about Mia's best friend Grace, who definitely had an impact on her. Throughout the story, we see how Mia and Grace form an intimate relationship and start going out. It's nice, a cool scenario, contrasting the fixing buildings and structures arc we were previously indulging in with our fish boys. Both timelines are very important and piggyback off each other in interesting ways that aren't really apparent the first time around reading. The fish crew is made up entirely of interesting characters with backstory to deepen their purpose. For instance, Char and Alma used to do illegal space transporting or something like that, and they also have an intimate relationship with each other. Later, we find out that they both helped transport Grace into Mia's boarding school by breaking an interplanetary law. But too bad Grace had to move back because her mother fell off a horse. So now Grace is gone and Mia has to finish boarding school relatively alone. So Mia wants closure, the fish crew are getting fed up with their employers, and Mia decides to tell them about her past. They've bonded quite well at this point, and the crew is down with venturing into this really deadly yet secluded area of space just to talk to an old friend or girlfriend. Actually, they never broke up. The entire time, the story manages to stick to an engaging plot and setting. Honestly, the art alone is a great reason to pick up this book. The colors are minimalistic, but man, are the right ones always front and center. The drawing style gives characters serious and zany looks, fitting whatever scene they need to. The structures feel so complete and always look fresh and new. Getting to see 20 different angles of a building never felt so great until I told myself it did. All of this is world building at its finest, from the character development to the world they live in. Essentially, the world around a character does the shaping and molding of said character. The world and characters in On a Sunbeam work together in harmony, making the book that much better. The rest of the book is pretty good too. It uses elements of world building I already went over, but read it for yourself. You'll enjoy.